Oh. All right. So, oh gosh, today, bear with me with the pronunciation. Kujichakalia. All right. So that's our day. That's our word for today. That's self-determination. So, remembering from before, and those of you who are new, we're using for our rites of passage. There we go. We're using. I don't know if we've. Going to pass this out to some of the parents. Here we go. I'm going to get some more. So we're using Kwanzaa words, and so those are our themes for every month. But the big theme, okay, I keep forgetting this part, is Sankofa, which is looking back in history to look forward for our future, okay? And so we have a great example of that. And we'll hear more today. We have a guest speaker. So for me, remembering what we're going to talk about, we remember when we started, we were nervous. We were coming to our family reunion. So we're coming back. Now we're getting a little more comfortable with each other. So last month, we had a little acting out when we get comfortable. So we're always remembering Kofi, what our therapists are here to help us with, what we support with, and we'll keep remembering that today because we have hard stuff today. So we'll be bringing that in, right? So when our bodies start moving, we're having a tough time. We want to make friends and we're not sure how to do it, and we'll be helping out with that. So just as a reminder. Let's see. So I want to start out with a little idea of what we're going to be talking about and why. And I remember I'm missing so many faces. You guys were so good about talking about what a story was, but a story is a beginning, middle, and end, and you had better words for that. So as always, we'll have our beginning, our middle, and our end today. But the other thing I was thinking about is that our stories, all the work that we're doing is like weaving. Can anybody tell me how you weave? Anybody know? How you make cloth? I know it's early. They're looking at me blank. Any ideas? All right, I gotta use my hands. When you make cloth, you have the thread go down, and it's kind of like, you remember making those mats as kids when you had little kids? For example, even if you do it for Christmas, red and green, it goes in and out, in and out. That's just how you make the fabric that you're wearing. This is what we're doing. We're weaving our history, our past, our present, our future, into cloth, okay? All of this stuff that we did at the beginning about our history, that you guys do remember what we talked about the very first time? One famous person on the wall. We'll play the scavenger. Right, so we went back, we're talking about the strong things we've done in our past, our present, and yet we have somebody to talk to about it. So, I'm going to pass around this that actually is Pente, which is also part of our history. It's a little different than color usually is. So when we think about, our history, one of the things I want to talk about is working for social justice. Does anybody know about sit-ins? What do you know?
Well, it's usually like protesting or standing up for something.
Perfect. Yep. So we're going to talk today about standing up for something you believe in, not in a nonviolent way, and we have a history. We have a history of that. So in the 60s, we're kids, basically, young adults who decided it wasn't fair to not be able to sit in a restaurant where they used to have water fountains that were colored and white, bathrooms, but also you'd go to the restaurant, you were allowed to pick up the food, but you weren't allowed to sit there. And I said, well, that's not fair. So we're going to sit down until we can be served. And so they did that. But how did they do that without fighting? Any ideas of how they did that? Any ideas how they did that? I'm going to ask you. What do you think they did to calm their bodies down? And what do you do to calm your body down when you get upset? Say it again. Go out the classroom? Good. Yeah. You take a break, right? You take a breath, maybe. So again, I'm going to keep saying, well, any ideas? Oh, I saw your mouth move. Nothing? Okay. All right. I have to stand up here with a microphone, so I'm really going to bug you guys. Miss King? They sang songs, right? There's all kinds of ways we can do this. And so again, luckily we have a person with us we can ask questions about how did he stay calm when he was upset about something that was really big, about social justice, okay? That first day we also talked about us working together, not just for black folks, for example. It just can't be black folks working for black folks, but all of us working together for each other. I'm going to pass a picture by. There was a protest for Native Americans to change the name of the Redskins. I saw Miss Christina there. I was there. And so I just took a picture of one of the posters. But again, about working together for change. You can do that at any age. We're babies there, right? You can do that at any age. But we help each other. That's the other part of being able to do this work. It's not doing it alone. We always have support. And we've got parents here today, which is fabulous because your parents are your support. They're your teachers, right? From the very beginning, from when you were just teeny weeny weeny. All right, so thank you again. So today, the beginning, Miss Christina is going to introduce our guest. We'll have an introduction. He'll talk about his own history. We'll watch a video, so you can see this one. We'll have a break, and the break will be about how do you calm down after watching tough things, after being with tough things. Then we'll have more of a conversation, questions for him, and also, it's not just about this moment in time, right? But it's also about what do you do with it? What's the future? What's he doing with that? All this information. Share food together. Oh, okay, I was kidding. And then just as a kind of ahead of time to know, we're going to come together in December or in January for a Kwanzaa celebration. So I just want to put it out now to remember. We want all the families, bring your little ones, and we'll have more of the kids because it's break. People have gone home or gone away, but we'll want everybody there and we'll have more activities. Okay. See, what did I forget? Bathroom break. One of us will take you. We'll take you down the hall to go to the restroom, so if you have to go, let us know. Okay, so now we'll stand up and just do a quick get-to-know-each-other game. Again, this is mostly because I can't ever remember anybody's name, so we'll be up front so we can get to know each other's names real quick, and then Ms. Christina will introduce our guest.
Okay, so I will not be long, but I want to just take a moment to welcome Chris formally and to thank him for being with us today. I also want to share with you, there's a woman, local woman here in St. Paul. Her name is Kao Kalia Yang, and she wrote this book called The Late Homecomer, a Hmong Family Memoir. And she gave us a copy here in Kofi, and what she wrote is, to Kofi, because our stories are our gifts to humanity. And so for me, this is really exciting today because we're sharing, Chris will be sharing his story. He'll be sharing a story of his life and the things that he is inspired by and the things that have been uplifting to him and the things that have been hard. Just like this book here, there's always a beginning, middle, and end. There's moments of connection and love and power, and there's moments of hardship and struggle. And that's the same in your life, too. So every day when you guys meet with your Kofi counselor, you're being very brave and opening yourself and sharing your stories. And so we just want to thank you for doing that and thank your families for allowing us to be a part of your story. And Chris, we thank you for coming here to share, again, the story of who you are and all of the strength and wisdom that you carry within you and how that helped you survive the moment that we've all watched and that we feel pain about and that we also want to support you in and as we all work for social justice and change. So will you guys give a big round of applause for Chris Lollie for joining us?
Thank you. I am a little nervous. I'm gonna just throw that out there right now. I make music, so I shouldn't be, but I am, I perform in front of a lot of people a lot of times. So, but this is different. Just a little base about myself. I'm from Chicago. I was born there in 1986. Lived there until 2000. My mom moved me and my sister up here to Minnesota because of the situation in Chicago. She didn't want me to be around gang violence and all the drugs and stuff. So she moved us up here to get away from that. And it was one of the best things that happened, just because it is really rough in Chicago. I'm pretty sure some of y'all might know. So we moved up here in 2000 so I could go to high school. I went to Johnson on the east side, if anybody knows where that at. Okay, yeah, I went to Johnson on the east side. And I actually graduated from, if I'm getting my orientation right, there's a school right there called High School for Recording Arts right across the street. I graduated from there 10 years ago when it was all the way down University on Vandalia. So that's actually, I don't know if anybody in here knows Kwame McDonald, but he was the reason that, and he passed a few years ago from cancer, rest his soul. He was the reason I got enrolled into that school for music, and it changed my life, and it gave me a way to get my feelings out without lashing out in ways that would be destructive to not only myself, but to, people around me, things around me, and things like that. So it made me who I was in that simple fact, and it gave me an outlet to put my feelings somewhere that I wasn't being judged by it, and it was just something to let out. But I got 4 kids, and I think some of y'all know my oldest daughter, Tanea. Yeah, that's my big baby, man. She was actually there for my graduation, so that's my heart. Y'all know her, and I guess we look alike. That's how one of y'all put it up. But yeah, and I have 3 other kids. I have a daughter named Alana. I have a little boy named CJ, my junior. Then another daughter named Tatum. And just seeing you young men in here today, man. One thing I really do want to say is it's hard, and I'm pretty sure y'all know. Being a young black boy, point blank period, it's tough. But one thing, and me having a son makes it to where I want to make sure he doesn't have to deal with some of the things I had to deal with growing up. So it changed my whole perspective on life. And especially having my daughters, that changed my perspective in another way. But having my son, it blew my whole world up because of what happens to us, and y'all saw the video. And I mean, I've been through that plenty times in my life, so it's nothing new, and I just don't want people to go through it anymore. And I guess the best way to deal with things like that is knowledge. Know who you are, know what you want to do, and knowledge of self is something that no one can take away from you. Like, I'm gonna pick somebody out real quick. Zaya, what's your favorite color? Orange? I said you look like my little brother. Now your favorite color is the same color as his. Okay. Now, orange is your favorite color, right? Okay. Can anybody take that away from you? That's just your favorite color, right? That's in here. Whenever it became your favorite color, it became your favorite color, and nobody can take that away from you, right? Okay. What's your favorite car? Ooh. I almost asked you what your favorite song was, and I guess since your favorite car is a Bugatti, I think you might like that. I woke up in a new Bugatti, right? Okay. So, and it's a beautiful car too. I'm pretty sure you've seen it before. It's beautiful. So that's your favorite car. Internally, you know that. No one made that your favorite car, really. It's a beautiful car. When you saw it, you was like, I like that car. When you saw the color orange, Isaiah, you was like, I like that color. That's your favorite color, and can't nobody take that away from you. And I say that to say, you know yourself. And knowing yourself is the best thing you can ever do, because let's break it down to let's see how I can put this. you know when something feels wrong, right? If something feels wrong inside you, it's probably wrong. Now, it took a long time for me. I had to grow up, and I felt those feelings like maybe I might be doing something that's not right now. It took a long time for me to grow up to realize when self is speaking to you, you gotta listen. You gotta listen. If your self is telling you it's wrong, more than likely it's wrong. And then after the fact, when you do something and you get in trouble for it, and then you're asking why, you have to take accountability for things that you do, because you take accountability for your favorite color being orange. Can't nobody, that's my favorite color. You take accountability for that. So if you do something wrong, you have to be, and it doesn't take an adult to do this. It don't take a kid. Anybody can take accountability for something that they do wrong. You see, so if you know you're doing something wrong, just man up. Like, I was wrong. And that's how you learn. Because if you don't know you're wrong, you'll never learn from anything. So, if you think 2 + 2 is 5 and you won't let anybody tell you any different, then you won't learn. You see, so when you learn that 2 + 2 is 4, you grow from that. And I might get a little too deep, but this is what life is. Life is about growth. So anything you see around that's natural to this earth, plants, trees, animals, you grow. And that's the basis of life, and what you are and what you need to do is just grow. So you're not an animal, we're human. So mentally, spiritually, physically, you need to grow, and in knowledge and everything else. So that's my basic philosophy. And it taught me that if I'm wrong, be accountable for it, and people will respect you for it, because you can own up to your own faults. And when you own up to your own faults, I tell my kids this: no one's perfect. No one's perfect. But if you strive to be perfect, you will be the best person you can possibly be at that time. Just, no one's perfect, but you can try to be perfect. You can try to do everything right. And sometimes, as you've seen in the video, sometimes even when you do what's right, you still may be hurt, or you still may come into contact with something that someone did you wrong. But still in all, knowing that you're right is the strongest feeling you can ever have. Knowing that you're not doing anything wrong, knowing that you're walking righteously. You want to help people, you want to do things not only to help yourself, but you want to help people around you. So knowing that is a powerful feeling, knowing that you want to help people, knowing that you want to do everything right to grow. Because if you do wrong, that's not growth. It's a negative. So life is mathematics. So I'll break it down to you real quick like this. Positivity and negativity. If you do something good, like 2 + 2, plus is a positive. So if you do something good, you will grow from that. So 2 + 2 is 4, plus positive, it grows. Now, if you do something negative, you take away from yourself. So it's, you do something bad or you do something negative. If you know it's bad, 2 - 2 is 0. You don't want to be left with anything. So hopefully that's a basic way I can break it down for you, so you to understand that good things grow things. So do what you feel is right and help people. And you can't never go wrong with helping people. Just do what's right and help people. And that's what turned me into the type of person that makes the type of music that I make and the things that I talk about in my music. So, that's the music part of my life. And growing up, things get hard, and I'm pretty sure y'all know. Life ain't easy, and life was never really meant to be easy. Life isn't made to be easy. But if you know who you are and you know what you want to do in life, just do it. Like Nike. Who got on Nikes in here? Can you raise your hand? Nikes. You read the box, right? You read the box? Have you read the box? What does it say? on the Nike box, what does it say? Just do it. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. If you love something, boom. What do you love? You love sports? Which sport? Any sports specifically or lacrosse? Boom. Have you played it before? Are you on a team right now? So, with that being said, that's beautiful. With that being said, now, practice makes perfect, right? And it takes time to be good at something. So what you're doing right now, you're at the beginning of something great. And if you stay focused on what you want, the universe has no choice but to give it to you. No choice. If you want it, you strive for it, it has to come. Now I see your shoes right there, those Cyrus's. I like those. You see my shoes? The DCs? You know why I wear DCs? They're skater shoes. You know how to skate? I don't either. But the thing is, the point I'm trying to make to you is skaters, they flip, they do kick flips and they grind, right? Now this is a ebonics term right here, but y'all know what grinding is, right? What is grinding? What do you do when you grind for something you want? Right? You work hard for it, right? So it's a metaphor, and what a metaphor is just the same thing in flips. So I wear skater shoes because I want to work hard with everything I do. So I wear these shoes because it's a constant reminder to keep grinding. They're skater shoes. I don't know how to skate, but I know how to grind. And I work hard for everything I want. I work hard for everything I believe in. And sometimes, even though it might not come when you want it, it'll come when you need it. It'll come. Just stay focused on your love, your light, and no one can take your light away from you. It's inside. And another thing I want to say real quick, don't allow the outside world to corrupt you. Don't allow the outside world to tell you who you are, right? So don't watch TV and allow the television to make you feel like you're something you're not. Because the truest thing you can ever see is what's in the mirror. You step in the bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror. And when you do that, I did that when I was about 8 years old. I stared at myself for about 10 minutes, or 5 or 10 minutes, to find out who I really was. Now, I didn't hear any words and I didn't hear anything, but I came to a realization that I am me. And that's the realest thing ever. No one could take that away from me. And that was my journey. So if one thing you could do when you get home is make sure you look in the mirror and be amazed at yourself. Look in the mirror and be like, that is a beautiful thing right there. Because it is. It really is. And don't let nobody take it away from you. And essentially, I mean, that's predominantly my philosophy. Life is about understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Another thing I want you all to know is learning things, knowledge. I'm a knowledge junkie. I like searching things and learning new things. Have you ever heard you learn something new every day? You do. I'm 28 years old, and every day I learned something that I did not know yesterday. And it's amazing that every day you live, no matter how old you get, you're gonna learn something new. And that's growth. You learn knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge is knowing your ABCs. How many people know their ABCs? Right? You got knowledge of that, right? Everybody know their ABCs. Wisdom. Now, wisdom is knowing how to read. Who knows how to read? Okay. Right? So understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Understanding is knowing what you're reading. So you can know your ABCs and you can know how to read, but understanding what you read is the point. So understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, once you learn something, you have to take it and put it together to get wisdom of it. And then you understand what you're reading. So don't stop at knowledge is the point. Once you learn something, go deeper into it and find out everything you want to know about it. About lacrosse. What do you know about lacrosse? You're finna teach me something new. You really are. So what do you know about lacrosse? What is lacrosse? Is it? All right. Wow. So it's like football. Oh. See, so you just gave me knowledge of lacrosse, but you have wisdom and understanding of that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. You just taught me. And now I have knowledge of it, but to have wisdom and understanding would mean I would go out there and play with you, you see, and learn how the game operates and be a master of that game. So that's basically just to say you do this with everything in your life. Everything has a knowledge, wisdom, and understanding type cipher. So once you understand something, you could become a master. You'll be a master of lacrosse before I will be, guaranteed. You're already higher than I am. So you're winning right now. you're definitely winning. And there's many other things that everybody in this room knows that I don't know. So we can learn from everybody. We can grow from everybody. And that's really how I view life, and everything in between it is just growth, love, and try to help somebody if you can. I mean, you know. Kuji Chakulia, man. That's the extent of really, I mean, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say as far as knowing who you are, and that's strength. No one can take it away from you, and people see it in you, and they respect you for it, you know, so yeah, that's the basis of my philosophy and how I remain me, because I know I'm me and no one else is me. Matter of fact, y'all got fingerprints? You got fingerprints? I'm pretty sure everybody in here got fingerprints. Just as different as your fingerprint is just as different as you are. You are your own person. Just look at your fingerprint. And that's how individual you are. No one else has that. You're like a snowflake. There are no two types of snowflakes. And there's so many snowflakes. It doesn't stand to reason how that's possible, but it's possible. No other snowflakes are the same, and none of y'all are the same. We gotta know who we are, and once we know who we are, we can chase what we want out of life, and it'll start chasing you after a certain point. So, yeah. I guess we'll get to the video. Yeah, it hurts to watch it. I don't even know if I want to watch it, but I'll watch it for y'all. I don't watch that video too often because it hurts. It's like reliving it, really. But for y'all, and any questions you have about it, I'm open and I'm here. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So we're blessed, we're lucky here to be with wisdom. I just loved how he talked about that. So we're going to watch the video, and it's hard to watch. We'll watch. I think we're going to end up watching 2 different videos, but we're going to watch his video, and using his wisdom to be able to talk about when something like this happens to you, and it happens to many of us more often than we'd want. It's in our bodies. Right? It's in our bodies. And so we have to figure out how to get that out of our bodies in a safe way, in a productive way. And so we'll learn, again, we'll gain wisdom on how he did that. They do studies on animals. Did you know that animals don't have PTSD? Right? They don't suffer from trauma, and they are chased for food, right? I mean, you spend your entire life either eating or being eaten, right? You're dodging all the time. You're trying not to be eaten. And yet, after being chased down, after having this horrible thing happen to you, these animals are able to go on the next day, the next hour, the next minute. How do they do that? Any idea? Any guesses? Oh, Miss Almas just gave us a hint. Yeah? Right? So the natural way that animals, and they've done research, because they're like, how come these animals can keep going? Is that they literally shake it out. They complete the action. It's not stuck in their bodies, okay? We have an extra thing, right? It's not gonna be stuck in our minds, and we're gonna learn that wisdom as well. But our jobs together are to figure those things out so that when something's unfair in class, when you feel like, my teachers are racist, why did they just say this? Or that's not fair, or they're being mean. How do you shake it out, literally out of your body and out of your mind, okay? So we'll be hearing some of that. When he talks about being an individual, being a snowflake, when we talk about community, each one of those snowflakes that are outside, right, when it's really coming down, it's not just, we don't see just one snowflake at a time. You've got all that snow, mountains of snow. That's community. That's how you make your snow fort, your whatever else you're doing, right? You put it all together. That's us, your community, okay? We're gonna watch this thing that's hard. We're gonna shake it out, literally. I mean, I'm gonna have you guys get up and shake it out. And then we're gonna have different zones of activity to work it out, okay? We got questions, so think about the questions you've asked before, and if you think of anything new, to ask Mr. Lollie. Story, beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't end with that video, right? It's what do you do with that? What do you, not only the feelings, but then the action afterwards. Okay.
Okay, who's first?
This is from Miss Almas.
Okay.
This is one of her boys. It said, why did you think you could get justice?
Why did I think I could get justice? Whoa. Huge question. That was, okay. I mean, that's a beautiful question. Because justice is, now we have our rights. And once I learned my rights, I had faith in the system. And that sounds kind of contradictory, but once I learned my rights, I knew what I could do, what I couldn't do, and what I had the right to be doing anywhere, wherever, because I did extensive research on my rights. So even though I haven't been to court yet, so quote unquote justice hasn't been given yet, the charges were dismissed, but we're fighting, Fourth Amendment things, and I'm actually hoping that more justice comes, but it's a faith thing. So that's a huge question, just because I'm hoping for the justice right now, and we'll see how it goes. But I got faith in the system. Sounds crazy, but there are laws and things out there that protect us. So I got faith in that.
It said, did you know the video would help?
I knew the video would help, but the video that I have, I needed all the videos. So even the video of the panned out shot, I didn't have that. And the video of me just sitting down, I didn't have any of those. The video that I took was the thing that made me comfortable in the fact that I could fight it and hopefully win, because what they put in the police report was exactly opposite to what really happened in the video. So yeah, without the video, we wouldn't even be talking about it right now, and I would probably be the guy that they wrote in the police report that was just, they were all lies. So yeah, the video saved me on more than just one account. So yeah.
was gonna ask who was the kids that was there when you said my kids is right there.
A lot. Well, I have 4 kids. So my 2 middle kids, she was 4. My middle daughter, she was 4, and then my son was 2. So it was 2 of my youngest children that were there. I had to call my mom and tell her that where I was. Well, once I called her, she knew where I was, so she knew what to do after that fact, So I didn't have to worry about it once I made my first call while I was, in lockup or whatever. So after that point, as long as they can be picked up, it was cool. So.
This is from one of Miss Alma's kids. I think the police were bullying you. I get bullied. What should I do?
Well, yeah, and that's beautiful because there are bullies. You don't need a police uniform. You could have on any clothes. They're just bullies. So what you do? First off, you got to know who you are, so bullies will like to talk about you and say bad things about you, like you're ugly or, once you know who you are, a bully can't do anything to you because they're just talk. And then if they touch you, what you have to do is make sure you can tell someone. And that's the thing. So bullies, we have different bullies. We have bullies that'll just talk about you, and then you have bullies that'll try and hurt you. So you have to be wary and knowledgeable of these 2 types of bullies and steer clear. And, if somebody puts their hands on you, make sure you get that to the higher levels of people who can actually help you out, because fighting a bully will really only make it worse. Bullies are bullies and they're gonna be bullies. You just have to know who you are and make the right steps to get people to notice the bullies. So the video actually, I put the bullies on blast, really, so dealing with bullies is a hard thing, but put them on blast, basically. Make sure everybody knows that they're bullies. I'm sorry? Meaning, if...
Isn't it just conflict making the problem worse?
If you do what?
If you put them on blast?
If you hit them, if you go back and forth with their energy, so if I call you ugly and you call me ugly, that's conflict. If you call me ugly and I say, so, right? That's not, you're just diffusing the whole situation. Now, if I hit you, if you hit me, right?
Yeah.
And I can still walk away. So that's essentially, it's stopping conflict. So walking away, whether they're talking about you or trying to hit you, is a conflict solver. So you don't want to react with the same type of energy that they're giving to you, because it'll grow and it'll blow out of proportion to a point to where you can't handle it now, and now everybody is mad at you and them, as opposed to thanking you for being the bigger person, because that's really what it's about. And it's sometimes hard to be the bigger person, but you don't want to be the little person.
Are you asking about peaceful ways to put classmates on blast?
Yeah.
Tell. If somebody's bothering you, don't bother them back, because it's only gonna make it worse. And knowing who you are will make it easier to be like, you're just messing with me because you have a problem with yourself. And that's essentially what it breaks down to. You're not their problem. They're their own problem. And they want to make they want to externalize or project their problems onto you so they don't have to deal with them themselves. So at that point, you just got to look at them and be like, that's just sad. I'm not going to fight with you. You need to grow up. And that has nothing to do with age. It just has something to do with your mentality. You can grow up at 5. You can grow up at 50. Just learn how to deal with conflict and don't feed into it. It's not worth it. Any other questions?
I don't like the way it sounds.
Okay.
In the recent events of Mr. Gardner and Mr. Brown, both resulting in a fatality, how confident does that make you about your situation?
And yeah, to add on to that, something else just happened. I don't know if you've seen it. They choked somebody else out in the mall. First off, I'm blessed to still have my life. Especially seeing that video in the mall where security guards, you know, they're not even really police, and they choked this man to death again. I'm blessed, to say the least and the most, really, to say everything. I'm just blessed to still be here. But I mean, it's pretty deep. It's hard. I don't know why, you know, because I could have really had my life taken. So it's a bigger picture, and just the fact that I'm able to speak on it and shit. Not only be able to speak on it, but I make music about this way before this ever happened. This is just an issue, you know, so I've been speaking on it a lot. But one thing I want to say about the propagation of it, you know, because it's been happening. This ain't nothing new, you know. So one thing I feel like we have to do is not let what's being publicized incite anger, you know, because it's been there, you know, and I feel like they're pumping it to incite anger, and that's not gonna solve anything. Like your son said, it's conflict. That's all it's gonna bring, is conflict. We gotta come together. So, I mean, with, you know, Mike Brown and it's so many other ones, you know, but I'm just blessed to still be here and to be able to talk about it, honestly.
I have a question, Mr. Lollie. I appreciate the fact that you said that it's not police in a uniform that are the bullies. Anybody can be a bully. It's not, he's not dogging police, he's not dogging other people. He's just saying that bullies exist in our world, and you just have to be aware of who those bullies are and how to deal with them. And I would just like, if you would help us understand the resilience piece of how you got through that bullying situation, because I have a black male son as well, and grandchildren that are black males. And I had a talk with my son when he was about 12, 13, about how you exist in the society as a black male, that you don't argue when confronted, especially if it's a police officer. And it's not to say that police officers are bad, but they have their duty to perform, and we have to know how to walk in that circle. So, you know, the non-resistance piece is very key for our males, that you don't resist. It saves your life if you don't. But can you say a little more about that resilience piece, not just with police officers, but in any kind of circumstance in life?
Well, I mean, yeah, staying strong is really, you know, in anything you do, life isn't always peaches and cream, you know, so when resilience is one of those things that if you don't have, you'll let this whole world break you down. And it's gonna happen. So having the strength within you to even deal with, I mean, you know, my situation, but I mean, things can happen at school, things can happen at work, things can happen on the bus, in a car, things can happen anywhere, but staying strong through that is like internally, you know, there's nothing outside of you that can make you strong. You know, I mean, when you lift weights, you're lifting weights, right? The weights are external, but your muscles are in here, you know, so you're trading these. So you have to consciously know who you are and just stand on that, because this world will kick you sometimes and it'll hurt. But it takes strength and resilience to take it, not only take it, but to stand up after it. You know, not only when you've been kicked to the ground, kicked while you were on the ground, standing up after that is a character trait that makes you very powerful. It makes you, Martin Luther King. Y'all know Martin Luther King, right? Okay. The resilience in that man was astounding. Unbelievable. I mean, he got slapped, he got kicked, he got put in jail, but he still maintained it's about love. Why can't we all just get along? So his resilience is just tantamount. I mean, he's the, what word am I looking for? I can't even think of the word right now, but basically, Martin Luther King, look at him, and you will learn. I mean, he walked to Birmingham. I mean, just the resilience in walking that far, you know what I'm saying? Resilience is a huge thing. So just maintaining that within yourself will make anything you do powerful. Knowing that you're strong and you can do it no matter what comes your way, you are strong enough to deal with it because you know you're strong enough to deal with it. And that's it. Y'all.
One of my questions was, what did you do wrong to get tased?
That's a good question. Nothing. They didn't want to hear me out. Even though I had told them plenty times over and over what I was doing there, how long I was there, everything, where I came from, why I was there. Sometimes you just get stuck, man. And you gotta do, honestly, I just did what I knew to do, really. I mean, I really can't. Ask your question one more time for me, please.
What did you do wrong to get tased?
That's why you're dumbfounding me. I'm trying to, I was sitting down. I refused to get up in a public place, which means I can sit here. I didn't yell. I didn't curse him out. I didn't even raise my tone. I didn't even talk with my hands. I walked off, went to go finish my business. The lady cop walked up to me, asked me what I was doing there. I told her, kept walking to go get my kids. She walked with me and talked. The male officer got there. I greeted him. Very cordial greeting. I thought it was very proper and respectful. And he blew up. Now, to get a little deeper into that question, sometimes being a black male with dreads and things of that nature, some people automatically look at you like you're doing something wrong. So that's one thing we have to fight with. So to answer your question, in the officer's eyes, I couldn't have been doing right. So there had to be something he could get me on. And I think that was his mentality. So personally, I don't feel like I did anything wrong, and I know I didn't. And that's what made me stand the way I did, because I knew I was in the right. But sometimes they want to call you wrong, and you got to deal with things like that. So just remaining righteous, man. I knew I was in the right, and they thought I was wrong. So now I'm dealing with that. Say it again. Say it in the mic.
You thought about them arresting you because you refused to get up?
Yes and no. Rosa Parks. You know Rosa Parks, okay. She sat in the front of the bus, right? You know the story of Rosa Parks, okay. She sat in the front of the bus at a time where she knew that black people are supposed to sit in the back, white people are supposed to sit in the front. She consciously knew this, right? So she sat down in the front of the bus knowing that they didn't want her there. Right? So let's fast forward to my situation. I sat down in a chair that I knew I could sit in. There were no signs. We live in 2000, at this time it's 2014, we're close to 2015. But we're in the new millennium, so there are no signs that say, black people sit here, white people sit here. Or there wasn't even a sign that said, this is a private area. So when the security guard walked up to me, he said this was a private area, and I told him there are no signs that states that this is a private area, and without signs, you can't just walk up to me and tell me it's a private area because you don't want me to sit here. So I've thought about it, but it's not a crime to sit in a public place, and I don't know why they thought it was.
And I showed the 4 boys the 3 different videos. So we actually watched the video where you just was sitting. We timed it. When you arrived, we seen your body language. And I think that's why Angelo said, Miss Yvette, what did he do wrong? I was like, well, I don't know. We have to ask him because we watched that and all of my boys were dumbfounded. But I know watching that, and as a therapist, I was angry each time I'm watching the video. I'm just angry, like, he didn't do anything. So I want to know, what do you do with those deep emotions?
These are ancestral emotions, and by ancestral emotions, I mean, you know, just a quick story on my grandfather. He's from Louisiana, and he stays down there now. He moved back, but he left Louisiana. He was born in 1919, so he left Louisiana because they hung his friend. They hung his best friend. They were pretty affluent. They had money and they were doing good things in the community as far as, growing. But they hung him, and my grandfather came up here. So by ancestral emotions, I mean, my family has been going through this and it's all in us. So I feel like right now is the time, at least in my world, to stand up, and even if it hurts, you gotta stand up. My grandfather ran at a time where they were gonna hang him. They were gonna catch him and they were gonna hang him. And if that would have happened, I wouldn't be here to speak to y'all, so as far as the ancestral thing goes, I think it's drawn down as far as energy goes. So my grandfather went through that. His father went through that. My grandmother went through things. And this is all internalized, not only in them, but in how they teach us. So nowadays, we have to not only know where we came from. If we don't know where we came from, we won't know how to fix today to make sure tomorrow is better. So me knowing my history and my family, just my personal family history, gave me some type of empowerment, knowing, I'm blessed to be alive, because they tried to hang my granddaddy. He picked cotton. He was a slave at a certain point, so we're not that far removed from this type of life. So right about now, there's a collective conscious, which means everybody's mind it's almost on the same wavelength. So now is the time to fight. Now is the time to stand up. And even if we get kicked down, stand up again until I can't stand up no more.
Your great-grandfather or your grandfather?
This is my grandfather. Yeah, but he was born in 1919, which would kind of seem like he's old. He's very old. He's still alive to this day, actually. But yeah, this is my granddaddy. 90, was it? He's close to 100. Okay, he's 5 years away from 100. He's 95, and he get up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day. Yeah. Man, yeah, he's doing good, and it's a blessing to even come from something like that, man. But he's pretty old.
I have a question and a request, I guess. When we talk about ancestral emotions and anger and where do we put it and what do we do with it, I think we all admire you for being here and telling your story today. And like you said, you've been telling the story long before this one incident. And 4 of us have been blessed to hear your talent in putting all of those emotions into lyrics and words and sharing your story that way. So I'm going to ask if you would be so generous as to bless us. And I pre-asked him, so he's not totally on the spot.
I'm ready.
To share some of your...
She put me in my mode. Definitely. I have a little something I could... If I had the beat, it'd be a little more powerful because the beat is like, it has a choir in the background and it's emotion. It has a lot of emotion in it, but I'll spit a little bit of it for you. And some of the words might be too big, and if you want me to break down the flow, I definitely can, but I might say, you see, I'm privy to pain and persecution. You see, I've divvied disdain until it's useless. Now, I don't believe in nothing without proof, because we've been indoctrinated since we were school kids. They told me black was bad, black was this, and black was that. Black was everything but good, and that was me, but black was all around the hood. That's where I be, so that made me question inevitably. I was taught better to fight, homie, and never to flee, so I'ma speak. Just let me speak. Always ahead of my class, said I was bad, though. The teacher sat me in back. I wasn't mad, though. Just how it was, being a young black boy growing up. So what? It's the same sad story, but there's a lot of those. I meet this angry black man with a lot of flows. Living this thing called life, it's a lot of road. And to walk up in my shoes, you need a lot of toes. Holla, you know when you could talk for days, but boy, to see it how I see it, you need darker shades. And that's a track I got called Testify, where I'm just putting my feelings out there. Thank you. And if I could just break down the first 2 lines where I say I'm privy to pain and persecution. I've divvied disdain until it's useless. Let me just break these down for you. What privy means is I'm used to it. So, I'm used to breathing or I'm used to walking, right? I'm privy to pain and persecution, which means I'm used to being hurt. I'm used to being kicked and walked on, and I'm used to that. I live it. I'm used to it. So when I say I'm privy to pain and persecution, I've divvied disdain until it's useless. So divvy, like division, divvy. I've divvied disdain, which means somebody's like a bully. A bully will talk about you. And like disdain is like when somebody look at you like, I don't like you. I can't stand you. That's what disdain is. So when I say I've divvied disdain until it's useless, I just mean I look at you and how you're looking at me, and I break it all the way down till it's like, I don't care, because I know why you're looking at me like that. You see, so that's the basic breakdown. And even a resilience part. Either way, even the resilience part, when somebody talks about you, don't think about what they're saying about you. Think about why they're saying it to you. Break it down. I divvy. Yo.
I think we're out.
We might be out. Oh, hello. Yep. Okay. And yeah, that's basically the flow, and I just wrote that to put my feelings out there, to not have them. Milk. Milk. You set milk and it spoils. You ever seen milk when it's spoiling the thing? What happens to the gallon jug? Right? It starts to swell up and stuff. That's what happens when you keep bad stuff in you. And if you drop it the wrong way, it'll explode, right? So that's just a metaphor of how I use my music to unleash the top a little bit, to get some of that out so I don't explode on people, because I'll end up in jail, so. Any other questions? No más? Okay. Well, thank you.